Hi everyone, Mr. Whitehouse here. A couple of weeks ago, I put a video out just asking for some ideas about what my next video could be about. I've had a few responses. I've been honest, all of them are really broad. Kind of like big topics that I probably would need like hours of videos to cover. But on immediately had a really nice idea of doing one on ancient Greece. So I thought I'd give that a go. And obviously, ancient Greece and the Greek Empire is a huge topic with so many different elements because it was a society and culture that has influenced so many different cultures subsequently, especially those in Europe. But what I'm going to try and do in this video is just give you a little taste of ancient Greece and maybe give you an idea about what has interested me about the topic. And then you can go away and you can do some more research on your own. And I'll give you a couple of recommendations for some books that I've read on the topic, which I thought were really interesting. So, ancient Greece itself, when people are describing it historically, they usually see it in three periods. The first period is the Archaic period, then you've got the Classical period, and then you've got the Hellenistic period. So I'll just go through each of those in turn and give you a little bit of an introduction to each one of those three periods. So the first one, the Archaic period, that is typified by the start of the Greek civilization. So when people first group together and form communities that work together. And this lasted all the way through up until about 800 BC with the introduction of democracy in Greece. And in this initial period, you see things like the Olympic Games starting, as well as Homer's writing of the Iliad and the Odyssey, two really significant works of literature that are some of our earliest examples of literature that we still have complete copies of today. The second period is the Classical period, and this tends to be one that people most associate with ancient Greece. This is where you start to see the most famous examples of architecture and governance and language and the spread of Greek influence across Europe being most prominent. And the end of this period is usually typified as being the death of Alexander the Great, one of the great heroes of Greece who spread influence across Europe and all the way as far as India. The final period is the Hellenistic period, and this is seen as ending with beginning with the death of Alexander the Great and ending up until the Romans defeated the Greeks in Egypt at the Battle of Actium, and that tends to typify, or tends to signify rather, the end of the Greek Empire and the beginning of the Roman Empire. So those are the three periods, but any kind of study of ancient Greece really needs to bear in mind the influence that the Greeks had on our modern world, and that goes as far as talking about art, philosophy, democracy, as well as the stories of the heroes that emerged from that Greek period. In terms of art, where you have the fantastic sculptures that come from the period, and I'd recommend anybody to go to the British Museum and study some of the sculptures that came out of Greece from that period once it opens, obviously. And philosophy, you have some of the major thinkers of the Greek period: Aristotle, Plato, Pythagoras. All are legends from the Greek era who have influenced our understanding of the world today. Democracy, of course, and the political system that originated in Athens specifically, but in Greece as a whole, still influences our world. And that political system sometimes is misunderstood. Greece itself, or ancient Greece, wasn't one unified state. It was actually a collection of around 1,500 independent city-states, all with slightly different belief structures and ideas. Things that they put a lot of investment in, such as like the Spartans, who put loads of investment in sort of fighting, prowess, and then you have the Athenians, who pride themselves on their political system and their thinking and their philosophy. And they all kind of often fought with each other. It was only when there was like an external enemy, like the Persians, that they often unified together to defeat that external enemy. And then the heroes, and Greek history is full of heroes. Some of them real, some of them mythological, and often the lines between myth and truth are sometimes somewhat blurred. And I thought I'd just finish the video by telling the story around one of my favourite heroes that I studied, and that's Heracles, sometimes pronounced Hercules, because actually he's a Greek hero who was kind of rebadged by the Romans as one of their own. But Heracles is known for his strength and his loss of temper. He was the son of Zeus, the Greek god, and had a mortal mother, which kind of made him a half god. And the story around Heracles, and one of the most famous ones, is around his 12 labours. These are 12 sort of jobs that Heracles had to do. And the reason why he was doing these 12 labours was because he wanted penance for killing his children. Essentially, he was driven mad by Hera, who was queen of the gods, and his stepmother, kind of an evil stepmother character. And in his madness, he kind of killed his sons, and obviously he regretted that action straight away and wanted to feel better. So what did he do? Well, he went to an oracle called Pythia, and she advised him to go and see his cousin Euphases and perform whatever he asked him to do. And this consisted of 10 labours. And these 10 labours, it turned out to be 12 because 2 of them were discounted. One because Heracles had help, and the other one because he received payment, were written down, and they've become legends. And these they involved like slaying lions, hydras, capturing Cerberus, who was the dog of the underworld. And eventually he did this, and he came back and felt some level of relief at his previous actions. But I'll just finish by giving you a couple of recommendations of some of the books that I've read around ancient Greece. I think a good starting point is looking at Stephen Fry's stories of heroes and mythos. They're kind of like modernized versions of the Greeks' origin story, but also the heroes that exist in their culture. And it's a nice introduction to that sort of world. So if you are interested in learning more about this, I definitely point you in that direction. So that's it for this video. Sorry it was rather brief, but such a broad topic, it's difficult to narrow it down to specific areas. But if you have another topic you'd like me to do, just put it in the comments below, and I'll hope to record one as soon as I possibly can. Okay, thank you.